and today we're going to be talking about the march. And this video is just gonna be going over um, the speed of marching, the formation of marching, about how to march faster, how to march longer, and the max range of marching. So as you can see here, we have just a Napoleonic army. We had a game here of the Army of Italy, like a historical game, and once you have your infantry units on the board, when you go into marching formation, um, the marching formation actually is not like a cohesive formation. So when an actual unit is in marching formation, they're probably in 3 to 4 like columns, like men. So there's like, let's say each one of these was an individual man. We have like 4 dudes like this, and then we have however many dudes are behind them, and then we have that keep going on. So it's not a cohesive formation at all, and it's actually very vulnerable because they're not in a combat formation. This is strictly for moving fast and being disorganized. So if you are attacked in marching column, unless it's an elite troop or guard, it is most likely going to be routed and or having to retreat and regain cohesion. That being said, it is very fast to move with. So a unit in marching column can move 4 tiles at once on rows, and each tile, as you can see, it's very it's very not clearly outlined, but each one of these is 400 paces or about 300 meters. And so you can move 4 tiles while in marching column on a road. If it was off the road, depending on the soil quality and if it was uphill or downhill, or if you were on flat terrain, it'll probably be around 2 to 3. But an infantry unit, no matter where they are, could march 1 square. On roads, if you're lucky, maybe 2. So you are moving 2 to 4 times faster in a marching column. They're very useful for getting around, as I said, and they're very fast. Um, every turn in Kriegspiel in a battle is 15 minutes long. That means within 15 minutes you would march 300 paces. Or for an infantry unit, within 15 minutes they'd go from this square to the beginning of this square. And that's 15 minutes. But for this unit, in 15 minutes, they'd go all 4. So you'd be going from here all the way over here, which is quite the distance away. Moving over to the campaign map, each turn on this big old map is 1 day. But if we are doing combat and continuously doing, let me rephrase that. While we are doing combat, we are continuously doing turns on the board as well. Every 4 turns on this small battle board is going to be an hour, and that will translate into a turn, which these guys will move a little bit. So the players will technically know there's a battle going on, but using the fog of war, they won't know where. And, common sense, of course, they're role playing as a different character. They won't know unless they get a courier there's a battle. So for them, everything's going normal. For other people, it's not. Moving back to the topic, let's say I wanted to march Miles from Gera over to Gramello and attack the first corps, right? I would take my so I got this map from a website where I can calculate the distances of these routes. So I would choose a route to go on and tell the umpire, myself or whoever it is, tell them which route you want to go, how fast you want to go, whatever. How armies march in Napoleonic Wars is they aren't marching all day every day. It's the opposite effect. They're marching, they'd be marching for the entire day, but every couple hours, between like an hour to 3 hours of marching, they take a half an hour break, and then they would continue marching. So you have this huge column of men marching over and stuff, and they're not marching continuously 24/7. They are taking breaks, meaning it would take if you only do one marching order for that day, it would take that entire day just to reach here, unless you wanted them to get there within a certain amount of time. So the distance between Gera and Gramello is it's about 8 to 10 kilometers away. The max amount of distance you can march with the army is 25 miles, which is around 30 kilometers. And so that's the maximum. However, the speed is much different. If you just wanted to go from Gera to Gramello, that would take the entire day, unless you wanted to say, okay, within a couple hours or as fast as we can from Gera, go to Gramello, and then carry on your orders. It may sound confusing now, but we'll get into some more orders, and that will help you understand clearly what we're trying to say. Do you have anything to add on, Pan?
One key thing is asking the umpire how far you could go.
That is true. Everything really depends on the situation, the weather, morale, um, how much supplies, how much food you have. So asking the umpire is never wrong. Always ask the umpire the quality of your troops, the morale of your troops, and the veterancy. Those three
Yeah.
things are what define your troops. And if you don't ask the umpire and you go into a situation where you have no idea what's happening, you are not going to have a fun time. All right, next thing we'll move on to is force march and other marching orders. So a force march is marching without the breaks. It is just continuously marching or with depleted breaks, which is harder on your troops, which is going to tire them out more, which is another factor that goes into battles and marching. However, it has its uses. So if you wanted this unit to march the 10 kilometers, but you wanted to get there faster because you didn't want um, Milas's army of Italy reinforcing in time, you could order a force march and march at a quicker pace with your men. And you can do that order, and you would most likely get there before he would. It really all depends.
Really just depends on what you mentioned earlier about troop quality and that kind of stuff.
That's true. Everything depends from the weather, soil quality, troop quality. The umpire has it all in his head. He has it all on paper. Ask him. He can't tell you everything exactly how it is because there needs to be fog of war and needs to be a realistic situation. However, don't be afraid to ask him literally anything.
Yeah. Force March isn't like really, really bad. It's not like your men are about to die as soon as they reach the place, so
Exactly.
they
But
still can fight.
I wouldn't
Like,
recommend doing it
for
all the
instance,
time. Continuously doing it is going to severely wear down your men to a point where you literally need to sit in a place for a couple days and have your men rest up, eat, and all that stuff.
yeah, but then it has its uses, like, you know how, like, Davout Force marched at, Austerlitz, right?
Austerlitz. Yep, he marched 70 miles in, I think, one day.
Yeah, 70 miles one day.
And his troops we still had enough gas in the tank to fight off a ferocious attack, outnumbered on Napoleon's right flank, for him to come around and take out the rest of the
Yeah,
allies.
but then, like, we're talking about, like, the highest quality of, like,
French
French troops
troops.
ever
Yeah,
is, like,
1805.
1805 Campo Boulogne French troops, like, the best musket armed men ever.
Exactly. So, really, a quick tip for any commander: commanding isn't about winning or losing. That's winning or losing, and it's its own thing. Commanding is about understanding yourself, understanding your men, and understanding your enemy. If you understand all three things, winning is going to come with that. And I think that's going to be it for the March. Stay tuned and come to the other videos, and that is going to be it.